Hi, everybody. Dr. Gail and Perry here. We're so excited to have her. I know you are excited. She's going to do some mini numerology readings after we talk to her a little bit. So, and let's talk about your background. It looks like, where are you from and where are you now?
Well, I'm in Eastern Canada. Thanks so much for having me, Gail. First of all, I really appreciate it. This is fun.
I know we always have so much fun together.
We do. We actually do. We never know what kind of trouble we're going to get into. But it's interesting. I'm just watching people coming on. I see a few people that I've spoken to before, and that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm from Eastern Canada. I live on the eastern shores of Nova Scotia with my soulmate and my dog, and been here for about 9 years, I guess. I've been on the East Coast for about 40 years. Yeah. So
well, let me do a little shout out to the people that are in the chat.
Sure.
And I'm looking at my phone because it's easier. Hey, Sharon, I saw you got in there early. Thanks for everything you do. Now it's in my face. I see Alphanumeric 1, Butterfly Kisses. Hey, Lauren. Hi, everybody. Spirit Watcher Suzanne. Thanks for coming. I saw White Dragon in there too. Dina Rocco. Let's see. Who have I missed? I hope I got most of y'all there, but thanks for joining us. And this is Ann Perry, and we're going into her background a little bit first before we get into the Starseed Numerology and then some mini readings. Oh, the chromosome. Hey, good morning. So now tell me about, how did you get into numerology? I mean, you got a big metaphysical past.
Yeah, I do actually, but I got into numerology probably about 20 years ago or more. I had a Reiki practice. Actually, I was a Reiki practitioner, and I started teaching Reiki and whatnot, and my practice grew really fast. And so I was having clients about 15 minutes between each other, and I wanted to know them a little bit more intimately. Mm-hmm. So I started studying numerology, and I found out that just knowing their date of birth was really helpful in knowing how to help them in their healing process. So that's, and when I started examining my date of birth and my name on my birth certificate and whatnot, it was like so mind blowing. It was unbelievable. I just couldn't get step away from it. So, but I did many things. I mean, it took me a while to realize that that's the language I speak. When I teach numerology, I teach people how to speak numbers, basically. That's kind of my soul language, I guess. I did Reiki, I did hypnotherapy, I did past life regression therapy, emotional freedom technique. I had all these different brushes in the bag, but really when it came down to it, numerology really spoke to me. And I feel that I can make a significant contribution with numerology. So that's what I'm passionate about.
I know you're pretty amazing, I think, talking about it. Yeah, I'm just always mesmerized when you just keep on going on about numbers, and I'm going, how does she know all that?
Ditto, girlfriend.
Yeah. Hello, Vivian. Hi, Strawberry Rhubarb. How are y'all? Thanks for coming. Okay, so the next question. Tell us all about your YouTube, your Facebook, and your memberships. Your new membership, I think, is so wonderful. Go ahead.
Oh, I appreciate that. So yeah, well, I've had a YouTube channel for probably about 8 years right now, and so there's a monthly forecast that I do with Susan Saucier, who is a psychic medium, and
she's great too.
Yeah, she is great. Yeah, she's down in Florida, so she and I have hooked up, and we do our forecast every month in there. So there's all kinds of stuff, and I tend to kind of gravitate towards the energetically sensitive, which I think is the sort of audience that you and I both attract. So we're kind of mentoring to them. So there's the YouTube channel. I have a Master Number 11 Facebook group. I also have my basic Facebook group, business Facebook group, I guess they call it. On Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And just on the 15th of July, I opened the Clarity Seekers community, and I'm so excited about it because now we've opened the doors up to everybody, not just the Master 11s who I've been kind of mentoring to, but it's open to everyone. And I have these really cool guests like Dr. Gail who come in and talk to us about, really mind-blowing subjects. So we've got Allison May is coming in on the 30th of August to talk to you about light language and soul language, and we just got some really neat stuff coming up.
Yeah, so. Actually, she's coming on my channel also in September.
Yay. Awesome. Oh,
Yeah, I can't let yeah, I have somebody coming on and talk about light language.
yeah.
I
Yes.
want to talk a little bit about. I had an appointment with Anne. I was interested in having a reading for her, and it was unbelievably great. And me with my background, you go tiptoeing into telling people exactly what you do. You're working with the ETs, the aliens, and Anne was just all over it.
Yeah.
Received it. I mean, you just never know how somebody's going to react, but she just opened her arms up for me and just brought me in and said, "You got to go on my channel."
That's exactly what I said. You are coming with me. That's the truth.
So it was so warm and welcoming because, as I said, I really don't know how people are going to react. And I do understand it because my stuff is so far out there. But Anne embraced it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to create community for people like yourself. I'm so grateful that I have the followers that I do. I mean, I'm not, I don't have the biggest following, but I've got a pretty good size one. And I'm just so grateful to be able to share my audience with people like yourself who've got such amazing things to share. And, if they want to listen, they're going to listen. If they don't want to listen, they're not going to listen. And that's okay. If you're ready for the information, I'm happy to share it. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Well, you want to start into the Starseed Numerology stuff?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you just go with it on that one. I know. Well, I know you
never said be careful what you sign up for.
Well, I got so interested when I was on your channel and you started off talking about the different star seeds, what numbers are associated with the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and I was just fascinated by that. And I know that material's out there, but the fact that you took it and put your intuitive spin on it was what was amazing to me. It wasn't the fact that you knew what numbers matched up. It was just the fact that you went more into details about that.
Yeah, well, I know very little about aliens and extraterrestrials, as you know. You are now my new teacher. But I did find it fascinating as I was kind of studying and preparing to do the talk. And you talk about the Pleiadians in particular, because the ones that I have been mentoring to over the last 8 years in particular have been the master number 11s. So for those of you who are not familiar with what a master number 11 means, master 11s are, that's a number. The 11 is a master number. Why is it a master number? Because it's a duplicated number, right? So we've got double ones. So whenever we see a double 1 or double 2 or a double 3, double 4, that sort of thing, it means that this person is here to master the vibration related to that number. So the master 11s, when I was early on in my career as a numerologist, I realized that they really needed a lot more support than a lot of other people because they feel like they're not from here. 11s feel like this isn't their planet. They're not from here. They hesitate to share who they really are for fear of rejection. Because at the end of the day, an 11 is also a 2 because 1 + 1 = 2. So they want to be part of a relationship, right? So sharing that woo-woo side of them, the little odd and eccentric and a little different side to them is very frightening because there is that chance they may be rejected, right? So in your language, Gail, we're talking Pleiadian star seeds. This is where the 11s tend to fit in because these are people who are gentle by nature. They're kind of quiet, sometimes a little on the shy side. They prefer to kind of work in the background rather than being out there in the forefront. They're quite patient by nature, very sensitive, a softer kind of an energy than others. Very empathetic, very tuned in. Always, like I always say, the veil between an 11 and the other side tends to be much thinner than most. They're very well connected, if you will. Mm-hmm. So they're the healers, the metaphysicians. They're the ones that they know that they're the older souls. They know that they are here to make a difference, but they likely don't know what it is. And part of that is because they are such old souls. They have so much cellular memory that they're tapping into that they feel sometimes a little intimidated in this lifetime that they'll never measure up to who they used to be in a previous lifetime, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's typically, food sensitivities are normal for them. They're sensitive to color. They're sensitive to sound, to light. There's their digestive system, all of it. They're just I don't want to say overly sensitive. They're just very sensitive. So
And this is why I contacted Ann. In fact, it was Nancy Jean kept saying, "You've got to go to Ann Perry. You've got to go to Ann Perry. You've got 11 in your birthday. You've got to go to her."
Yes.
She specializes in the 11s. And so that's when I went to her and was just amazed.
Does that feel like a Palladian to you?
Well, I'm actually Arcturian. So, yeah, so that, and I don't relate to the Palladians as much as I do the Arcturians. I mean, I know I work with them well because Palladians are so wonderful, but I am Arcturian. And so I think they might have given me that combination because they needed the Arcturian part, the one that, I don't know, more structured or whatever.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the Palladians tend to be the 11s, the 2s, because an 11 is a 2, but you can also be just a 2 without being an 11, right? If your date of birth, for example, adds up to 20, then you are technically a 2 life path number. And also the 9s. So the 9s are the fixers. So overall, would you describe a Palladian as an extraterrestrial? I'm sorry if I'm not getting the terminology correct.
That's fine. We understand.
Yeah. So would you describe the Palladians as the healers, as the ones that want to be of service in that way?
Yeah, they're the ones that are the most sensitive, and they are the most prominent here on Earth, and they are the ones here to help us ascend. And because the Arcturians help them ascend on their planet, and they're here doing like payback. So they're here to help us. And so, yeah, I think they are the healers, and they're the ones that are most sensitive and the ones that we just want to hug all the time.
They're generally soft, warm, and fuzzies. That's
exactly.
Kind of great. They're kind of warm and fuzzy, and I find that again the 11s tend to have a bit of a tough road in a lot of respects because they feel the need to do something much bigger than what they're currently doing, right? And so the best way I can explain it is that an 11 vibration or Palladian vibration is way up here, and the rest of us kind of vibrate down here. And so those with the 11 or the 9s or the 2s energy, their vibration is high, which makes them feel somewhat isolated. So they're always navigating that distance between the two of us. But when you're looking at the number 11, for example, we've got double 1 vibration, and the 1 is the masculine vibration. So that's go, 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 push it, make it happen, be the leader, be authentic, be original, be creative, self-starter, all that. And that's all good. But at the end of the day, the 2, and an 11 is a 2, the 2 says that's the feminine energy learning how to receive. So they're always wondering, how far can I push? How assertive can I be before I risk being rejected?
Right. Well, I would say that my trip out here from Mount Shasta and even Susie helping me, that's been a big part of me receiving. And I've really have never done that in my life before. And that's all
You've gone light years ahead in the few months I've known you. It's crazy. You are unstoppable.
Yeah. So that part of me. But anyway, let's talk about the Arcturians. What numbers go with them?
Typically, the Arcturians tend to fall into the categories of the 1s, the 7s, and the 4s. Okay. So my life path number is a 7, so I fit into this Arcturian category. These are the ones that kind of like math. I don't get that because I never liked math. I swear my math teachers will be like, "She's doing what?"
I know that is because I'm the one that's a math and science.
Yeah, see, that's it. But that's very common, right? So maths and sciences and metaphysics and medicine, that kind of thing is all, that's right up your alley, of course. Right. They love to plan things. They love to know things. They're the students, perpetual students all the time. They never want to leave a stone unturned. They're very analytical, and we risk overthinking absolutely everything, right? So our job, 7s, anyways, I can speak for the 7s and the 1s. 1s, 5s, and 7s tend to be what I call head case numbers, meaning that all our decisions are kind of made up here. And so, they don't always end up well because we're making decisions based on what we think we should do rather than what we feel we should do. So we want to drop from here into the heart center to make heartfelt decisions. They're very telepathic. They can be very compassionate. Where the 4 kind of stands out a little differently is that the 4 is more of a business number, and the 4 is like process. They like a plan. They like to know what's going on. They want to have, they want to get up in the morning and go, okay, but today I've got this appointment followed by this appointment. This is what I have to accomplish. So they're very much about security. So that would be, the Arcturians in a nutshell, basically. They kind of like their security. They're a little bit more methodical, I guess, than what you might see the Palladians as.
Right. That's exactly how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's the other one that you have? So there's
the Syrians.
Syrians. Okay.
Yeah, the Syrians, they tend to be more creative. This relates to the 3s, the 6s, and the 9s. So when you categorize numerology, we go 1, 5, 7 are the thinkers, more analytical type people. 2s, 4s, and 8s, those are people that like the business, and the 3s, 6s, and 9s are the creative ones. These are the writers. These are the comedians, the actors.
Well, that's what Earth is going towards, is the Sirius B. That's what we're ascending to. So we're ascending to being more creative. That's good to know. I didn't know that either. I mean, I knew we were ascending towards Sirius B, but I didn't know that was the creative side. So that's good to know.
Yeah, they are. Well, they're sort of. I mean, the 9s in particular are the fixers, right? These guys are the ones that want to wear their cape and their tights and then swoop in and save the world kind of thing. But their biggest lesson is to learn that they're really not intended to do that. They're intended to put tools in the hands of others to help them help themselves, right? So rather than being the ones that swoop in to fix everything, they've got to learn how to stand back and go, okay, here's some tools to help you, to help yourself, right? So that's the 9. The 6s are the perfectionists. The 6s are the teachers. They are the nurturers. All of these numbers want to be of service in some way. I'm not sure if you can connect the dots back to Syrians here, Gail, but 3, 6s, and 9s have a tendency to want to be of service. The 6s want to be of service to their home, their family, and their community. Okay. The 9s, they're out here. They want to be of service. They want to make a huge contribution to the planet. So they're more interested in things like, charitable things and humanitarian projects and save the world kind of thing, the environment, that kind of deal. They have a connection to water, and they tend to be quite passionate about the land and also to animals.
Well, that's, a Sirius B is a water planet.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's a planet of the whales, dolphins, it's all the water.
Okay. Yeah, so they're the empaths too. These guys are extremely sensitive. The 3s have a tendency to want to express themselves in a creative way, more so than the 6s and the 9s, but they do suffer a lot of self-doubt and self-ridicule. And so they, for example, when we look at a 33-6, that's another master number. Right. 33-6s are learning how to manage their need for perfectionism. That's 6. But in so doing, they're learning how to communicate and express themselves without judgment or ridicule, and accepting that there's divine perfection in everything.
Right. You just always blow my mind about these numbers.
Just me.
Rolling it all off.
There you go. And next up, we've got the Lyrans.
Okay.
These ones, the Lyrans, kind of like the Palladians in a sense, because the Palladian fits into, I'm sure I got my notes right here, my cheat notes. So Lyrans can also include the 11s. But when we look at the Lyrans, we see more of an independent side, okay, because they gravitate to the numbers of the 1, the 5, and the 11. So when you think 1, think independent. Think leader, think creative, original, authentic, self-starter, that sort of thing. So very ambitious and driven. The 5 is the energy of the person that needs their freedom. They learn best from experience. They're not the best. They can learn through the books, but they're not as well suited to learn through the books. There are people that really need to learn through experience. They get bored very easily, very distracted. So, and change is very important to them. So I don't know if that's, they're risk takers, they're travelers, they like to experience things. So I'm not sure where that fits in your line of work with the Lyrans, but does this speak to you on some level?
Oh yeah, my life path number's a 5.
Yeah, right. And still, but you're Arcturian though.
Yeah. Conflict there.
Well, But they're curious by nature. They are very curious by nature. And the next one is the one that starts with the O, and I risk saying it because
Orion.
Yeah, Orion. There you go.
There's a story behind that. Everybody's why she's saying that.
I know that. That's why I hesitated.
So. I don't think they've seen it, but how did you say it? She was going through this and she said,
Orion.
Orion.
Yeah.
I said, well, who is that? What is that? Then I hit me that she was trying to say Orion.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a good laugh at it. And we were live on her channel that time.
So the Orions are more the business side, right? They're very grounded. They've got a real strong work ethic, and they like to follow the rules. They are interested in manifestation. They want to work hard for it. They're very focused, very attention to detail.
So what number are they?
Oh, I'm sorry. 4s, 8s, and 22s.
Okay.
Yeah. So very task oriented. They tend to be quite grounded. I mean, if you think of Orion, you think about Taurus in some respects, because it's a very grounded number. They see things in black and white. They don't really see the color in things. It's more, it is what it is. It's black or it's white, it's truth or it's not kind of thing. They're very matter of fact kind of an energy, right? Builders, leaders, practical, grounded. They finish what they start, right? And they're very, very, very detail oriented. Followed by the Andromedans. Did I say that right?
Andromedans. That was the one. It was
That's the one I screwed up last time. Yeah, that one. Let me try it again. Andromedan? Andromedan. Okay. Okay. So they're 3s and 5s. They gravitate to the energy of the 3 and the 5. So again, quite opposite to Orion, Starseed, because the Andromedans.
Andromedans.
You know what she said. They tend to be a little bit more easier going, laid back. They're easy to talk to. They're.
I think of Andromedas a lot like Palladians.
Okay.
Very similar personalities.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I do. I think that they're very similar personalities.
Well, they can be. They've got sort of an innocent quality about.
Yes, they do.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat of loving their freedom, because of course that comes back to the 5, right? The 5 always loves their freedom, loves change, loves the unexpected, rolls with the punches, easily adaptable and flexible and resilient. Sometimes difficulty with commitment, because the 5 wants their freedom. It's hard to catch a 5, right? Because they really like their freedom. But they tend to be easy to be around, energetically. I don't know. I've never sat with one before, I don't think, that I'm aware of, but this is what I'm told anyway.
If you are around one, a lot of them just show up first. You think they're a Palladian. So, as I said, sometimes their energy is hard to distinguish between the two of them, the Andromedan and the Palladian. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of childlike, playful by nature, easier going. Like I said, the Orions have a tendency to be kind of stick in the mud kind of thing. Like, we play by the rules. That's what we do. These guys are like, we can let that go.
You have any more?
But wait, there's more. Venusian. The Venusian Starseeds. Yeah, these guys are interesting. This is this Venusian energy responds to the 6s and the 33 6s. Okay, so remember this. The 6s are very, very much the nurturing, more compassionate kind of an energy, mothering. When you think about the number 6, always think, the number 6 has this round belly. Okay, the round belly makes us think of the pregnant mom, the nurturer. Okay, so they think home, family, responsibility, huge sense of responsibility. They can be quite judgmental because they are perfectionists, right? So they. When they're not living up to their own expectation, they're judging somebody else's kind of thing. But they are the healers, and they have a huge need to be of service. So if anybody's a 33-6 out there, that it's tough, because you've got that need for perfectionism. So it's a little scary for you to take a risk for fear that it's not going to be perfect. But the double 3 energy that gets you to that 6 is the responsibility of being the speaker, to be the communicator, right? To write or to sing or, poetry, music, whatever. It's out there. Huge need to be of service.
I'm going to assume that the Venetians are from the planet Venus. Is that true? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dog Moon, that everybody has heard about, that has passed away, and who's my assistant, she is from Venus. She is a Venetian, and she took me to her planet, and it was pretty amazing.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, my dog Moon's from.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a Venetian.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, these are the teachers. They tend to be kind of, they sort of stand out. There's an energy about them that causes them to kind of stand out, where people sort of look up to them. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, next, let's do some mini readings. Anybody interested in putting your birthday in? I know, showing your birthday.
Yeah.
And be a little hesitancy on that part of it. But
when you're putting in your date of birth, I need you to write it down like March, like write the word out March, because a lot of people coming from the UK, they transfer it.
Yeah.
So write down the month, the day, and the year. That would be really helpful.
And then Anne will do a little mini reading for you. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for those to come in, go ahead and talk about your channel. Again, to do a little plug on your channel and how they get in touch with you. And
Yeah, absolutely. So there's lots of teachings available on my YouTube channel. It's just Perry Numerologist. You can check that out. There's also, as I'm thinking about it now, my website was just rebuilt. I'm so happy with it. It's ridiculously functional. I freaking love it. And there is a tab on there called resources, and a plug for Linda Daly from dailyprogress.com. She's done a fabulous job recreating my website for me. And when you go in there, there's a list of all of the numbers from 1 to 9, the different ways they can show up in your life and whatnot. It's super interesting. So there's all that. And there's a bunch of there's blog posts in there. The forecasts are in there. Like, there's a whole one-stop shop in there. You can book your readings in there if you want to hang out with me and do some live time. But yeah, it's
I know your website's wonderful. Trying to get a reading. Mine is so like Susie and I are still working on mine.
Guess what? You have it up. You didn't have it up when we first met. So let's go.
I didn't have it up. Okay. So let's see. We got Laringer. I always hesitate saying that name because I know I'm saying it wrong.
I honestly can't really tell you too much, Linda, because all you're asking is about number 1. I really need your date of birth. So if you wouldn't mind posting your date of birth, I'd be happy to take a look at that.
Yeah, because she doesn't know if that's your life path number or anything. So
there we go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so October 30th of 1952. All right, I have to write these things down, guys, because it just takes me a little bit of time. 1, 9, 10, 15, 17. That's an 8, 3, and 8, 8, 9, 16, 17. Okay, so Lauren Hunt Singer. Interesting date of birth. The first thing I noticed when I'm looking at your date of birth is the fact that you were born on the 30th day. Okay, now a lot of numerologists don't actually honor the fact that there's a 0 in there. They take that as a non-entity. Myself, I actually look at that and go, that's a turbocharger. Okay, now I do have a video on my YouTube channel. I think you should go and watch it. And just go into the search engine of my channel and just type in the word turbo, and you're going to see a video that comes up saying 0, the turbocharger. Because the 0 amplifies the number that sits next to it. So this tells me that you are intended to tap into your intuitive gifts. That's one of the things that you asked to do, was to tap into your intuitive gifts. If you were born on October 3rd, that would bring in, an interest in being a communicator and a speaker, and, just creative in that respect. But when the 0 comes in there, that digs a little deeper and it says, yeah, you're supposed to tap into that intuitive potential. When we look at the whole date of birth, it comes up with a life path number of 19/1. Okay, this is very interesting because this causes what we call not causes, but it indicates a karmic debt. Okay, we have 4 karmic debts that we observe in numerology: number 13, 14, 16, and 19. So in your case, you came in with a 19/1 karmic debt. It tells me that you were a leader in a previous lifetime. You were somebody who was very driven, very competitive. I call them hard ass leaders, okay? Because you would have led with an iron fist, basically. You climb up that corporate ladder and you try to make an impression. and you kind of stomped on people a little bit to get ahead. So obviously that's bad behavior. And when we bring karmic debt in, it's not punishment. When we bring in a karmic debt, it says, I'm owning this. I'm going to make this right. I was a badass in a previous lifetime. I'm going to make it better this time. So this time around, you're intended to be a leader. But this time you see that 9 that sits in amongst the 2 ones. The 9 says, I'm going to be the healer. I'm going to have not my interest at stake anymore. That's where you blew it in the previous lifetime, was it was all about me. This time it's let's shine the light on them. Let's push them up that ladder and help them to be successful. Okay. So you're the one thing I'm going to share with you, Lauren, before I go on to someone else, is that you really need to work on being vulnerable and letting people know that it's okay that you don't have all the answers. Right? No one's going to judge you because of that.
Good.
Yeah. Spirit Watcher Suzanne. Hey, Suzanne. So we've got another karmic debt. So Feb 13, that's the karmic debt, 1963, 10, 16, 20, 19, 1.
Valentine's Day.
6, 7. Okay, you're an interesting one because you're straight up 7. Okay, your life path number is a 7. Now, for those of you who are going, what? I don't get this. I thought it was this. I will tell you that I observed the teachings of Matthew Oliver Goodwin. Okay, so Matthew was a master numerologist back in the 80s. He was brilliant. And Matthew felt that it was not correct to just simply add the numbers straight across on your date of birth, because if you do that, you're going to get different, not always, but sometimes you will get what we call different sub-lessons to your main lesson. So what do I mean by that? If you go back to Lauren was a 19-1 life path number. So that means that she has sub-lessons related to the 1 and the 9, so she can be the best one she can be. In your case, Suzanne, 2 and 1 is 3, and that's 6 and 16, 19, 25. If you add the numbers straight across, we come up to the number 25, okay? And 2 and 5 equals 7. That would mean that you were here to learn how to manage your sensitivity, learning how to be more of a partner. This is relating to the number 2. Learning how to be a better partner, learning how to be patient, diplomatic, and such. The 5 would be saying I'm learning how to work with my scattered energy, learning how to get more comfortable with my need for freedom to be the best 7 you can be. The problem with adding your date of birth straight across is that the fact that you're born on the 13th day, that holds a very significant message that says, I'm here to pay back for bad behavior. I'm bringing in a karmic debt. I'm not being punished. I chose to bring with me the 13. So this says, so if we add your number straight across, it doesn't allow that 13 to stand out. Now, if at the end of this you say to me, well, you know what, Ann, I really do connect better with the lessons related to the 2 and the 5 to be the best 7 I can be, then you know what, so be it. Then that's right for you. That's your soul speaking to you that's right. So it's not about me being right, but I do like the way that Matthew taught me how to do this, because it allows your day of birth, which is a core number, to stand out. Okay. So in your case, the 13 says that in a previous lifetime, you were somebody that didn't really apply yourself too well. You were kind of on the lazy side. You took a lot of shortcuts, you didn't really step it up. And this lifetime, you have to pay very close attention to the details. Not taking the shortcuts, doing the best you can to finish what you start, that sort of thing. And you might even find yourself a little bit of a workaholic this time around, because you're proving to people that I am a good worker. I do have work integrity. But at the end of the day, you're a 7. I'm a 7. We're different 7s, because in my opinion, you're a straight up 7. That means there are no sub lessons for you. You're just here to work on the 7. So check out my website under the resources for the number 7, so you can learn more about that. But you're somebody who's spiritual by nature, not necessarily too religious, but more so on the spiritual side. Somebody who is very analytically inclined, overthinks everything. Welcome to the world. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully that helps you.
All right, and here's they have their own YouTube channel, the Chrome Zone. So this is cool.
All right, so Priscilla, you are October 24th of 1952. Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. So you're born on the 24th day. We're going to add 2 and 4 together. That comes to 6. Now, when I teach numerology in my Clarity Seekers community, which is my membership, we will be getting more into this. We get a little bit deeper into this, but just sort of on the surface, we know that 2 and 4 equals 6. It actually relates to the sublessons of the 2, the 4, and the 6. So you are actually learning within your day of birth, you're learning about the 2, which relates to learning how to be patient, diplomatic, a better partner. The 4 relates to learning how to be stable and have a process and follow directions and have a plan, so that you can master that energy of the 6. Your 6 day of birth brings in, the interest in being of service. There's a part of you that says, I really want to be of service. Your home, your family, really important to you. Your community, probably love animals, probably love to feed people, because your life path number in itself is a 6, right? It's a 15-6. So different sublessons again. So it's a lot to learn. One of the things I will share with you, Priscilla, on this is that with the 6, one of the biggest lessons for the 6 is to learn not just about perfectionism, but what is my responsibility and what isn't. Because the 6s tend to want to be the perfectionist, they always want to jump in. If you want it done right, probably I need to do it myself, right? So what you do is you end up teaching everybody around you that they're kind of not good enough. Let me do that. And then you end up with all the balls up in the air. I have that t-shirt. I went 27 years doing that. Right? I ripped off the t-shirt and went and ran. So I don't do that anymore. But I have a big 6 in my chart. That's what I had to learn. What is my responsibility? Just because I'm a perfectionist doesn't mean that I have to do it all. When we're jumping in to take on responsibility for everything, we're actually disabling everybody in front of us, because we're kind of telling them they're not good enough. So every time you say to your kids, go make your bed, and then you go make it behind them, you kind of told them that they didn't do a good enough job, right? And that's our inclination. So we have to learn, what emotional need in us is not being met that says, I have to be right. I have to do this. So how important is it for you to get this done? How important is it for this to be done right? Can we step off that hill? Take less and less responsibility. So yours is a really interesting life path number. Thanks for sharing that.
I hope that helps you, Priscilla.
Oh, good. So tear off the t-shirt with me, girlfriend. Let's do it. No more need to be responsible for everything. Yeah. White Dragon. All right. Let's see. We got September 25th of 1955.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this one.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, straight up, White Dragon, I really hope that you're involved in something of a spiritual nature. I hope that you're making your living in some way related to spirituality.
Actually, he works on the spaceship. He's
Okay.
on the military side. He's a 5-star general.
5-star general. Wow. Cool. I think I'm just a little clerical worker, is what Gail told me. But we're still on the same ship together. It's all good.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So you and I were both born on the 25th day. So that brings in that head case energy again, right? So when we bring in that head case energy, it means that we think and we think and we think. And when we're done thinking, we think again. And quite often what we do is we act upon whatever it is we're thinking about, but we fail to tell people before we act on it. And everybody's like, what? Like, what is that? Like, what? I never saw that. I never saw that coming. So the 7, 2 and 5 equals 7. The 7 relates to issues around trust. It's important that we communicate more clearly what it is we're thinking, because we can catch people off guard by acting upon whatever we're thinking about. And then it causes a trust issue because they thought they knew you and now they're not sure they know you because you caught them off guard, right? So the 7 has a tendency to make the decisions out of their heads. And the only thing that sits next to you in your head is your brain and your ego. And your ego, as last time I checked, is not your best friend. So we're trying really hard to leave the ego up here and move into the heart center and make those heartfelt decisions, okay? The fact that you're born on the 25th day means that you're learning how to be patient. Sorry, something's coming down. Learning how to be patient. The 5 relates to not scattering your energy all over the place. The 7 brings in the metaphysician, brings in the spiritual teacher, right? You and I are intended to teach off our sleeves, meaning that our life experiences, the tapestry of who we are, all the experiences that we've had, we're intended to share them. And that's why you'll see on my videos and whatnot, I do share an awful lot of myself, and it's never to make it about me. It's because I feel that I'm a channel, that what comes through me, I'm intended to turn it into a teaching moment. So I'm always on the lookout when shit hits the fan. I'm always on the lookout. How do I turn this lemon into lemonade, right? So, okay. Now your life path number in itself is an 18-9. So the 9 is the healer. The 9 is the empath. You are insanely intuitive. Never doubt that. The 7 will cause you to doubt it, but I want you to really work hard to accept that you are ridiculously intuitive. The 9 is the fixer. The 9 is the humanitarian, the lover, very passionate about people, the idealist. Very difficult for you to look at the news, for example, and to see a situation that you feel powerless to change. You see things differently. You're very much a visionary, and you see things very differently.
And he is one of the ones that does see what he's doing on the spaceship like I do.
Okay.
He's able to see it all.
Good. That's awesome. I think that's important. You're also somebody who is intended to help people to be better empowered, help them to step back into their power. Maybe that's the role of the general that you're playing. It's not about you being that big hard-ass leader. It's about you helping people to help themselves. That's the key to the 9. But that 8 in there, it's learning how to work with your own personal power as well, like learning how to be an effective leader. But it's also about helping lead people back to their personal power as well. So hoping that helps.
That was good.
Good.
All right.
I think we've already done Lauren's.
Yeah, we did Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, this is Harry. Heather caught you, Harry. This is the other half of the chromosome.
Okay. The other half of the okay, good. So we've got February the 20th of 1950. 6, 2, and 2. 8. Oh, you're straight up 11. All right. How long do you have? So first of all, you're going to go to my YouTube channel and watch the video that I created that's called "Why is the Life Path Number 11 So Challenging?" It's an old one. It's one of the first ones I ever did. It's very organic, which is like I felt inspired to share it with you. It's not the best video I've ever created, but it has some really great content in it. Very much help you to understand who you are. You're somebody who is very, very intuitive, very sensitive, very much the old soul. The key to your happiness, Heather, is recognizing that you're not intended to do something someone else has already done. You have to do it Heather's way. Heather has to just do her, right? So in my mind, you are a straight up 11, meaning that you're working on the double intensity of the number 1. So the 1 relates to being a leader, being creative, being authentic, being original, being confident, tapping into your creative potential, all of that. But it doesn't say I have to do something as well as somebody else did. You know, if you're a teacher, I have to be a better teacher than so-and-so. No, it's not about that. It's creating something original that is your own. So if you think about myself, my what we call growth number is an 11. And so I had to learn that for me to be a numerologist, I had to be okay with the fact that I'm not like other numerologists. I'm not what you would call a technical numerologist. I'm an intuitive numerologist. I read the numbers a little differently, but I can't compare myself to anybody else out there. And had I continued, because I did it for a while, had I continued to compare myself to others, I never would have made it. I never would have found the success and the joy that I'm experiencing because I was too busy doing everybody else and not doing just me. So my courses are actually called Just Do You for that reason. So it's interesting. But again, you've got the 2, 0 there, right? So that 0 is amplifying the 2 that sits next to it. So you're intended to work one-on-one with people. I hope that you found that in some capacity. I don't know if you're doing readings or anything for people, but you really are. You can handle yourself. Sorry, just looking at something else here. You can handle yourself well in a group, but where you really shine is one-on-one, connecting people to their truth. I'm assuming that your first name on your birth certificate is Heather. And if that be the case, then what we call your cornerstone is an H, which vibrates at the 8. And the R at the end of it is the capstone, which is a 9. So the H is about self-empowerment. It's about tapping into your own personal power. And the 9 is helping people to do the same because that's the number of the healer. So
that's great. There you go, Heather.
all this amazing. Oh, you're so welcome. July 18th of 1969. 1969. I think, Kimberly, I think we've spoken before. I think you've been in one of my lives before. 1925.
Well, welcome, Kimberly.
23 and 5. Okay. So your sub lesson relates to your day of birth. Okay, you're born on the 18th day. Add 1 and 8 together, it comes to a 9. So that brings in the lessons related to being the healer, learning that you can't be all that, learning that you can't fix all things. You're not intended to fix all things. You're intended to step back, observe, and help people to help themselves. Okay, I keep going back to that, but that's the truth of it. The 9 is very much the empath, and you're all that for sure. Feeling everybody's stuff. So learning how to maybe step back from that a little bit, learning some tips and tricks on how to release the charge of that, because you really do feel people's vibrations. Your life path number is a 23-5. And so you guys have probably figured out now that I don't look at somebody and just go, oh, you're a 5 life path number, right? It's not enough to say you're a 5 life path number. What kind of a 5 are you? Are you a 14-5? Well, that brought in the karmic debt. Are you a 23-5? Are you a 32-5? Are you just a straight up 5, right? You got to know the numbers, and selfless plug here, but if you're interested in taking this a step further, $22 a month, I'm doing my Clarity Seekers community where I teach numerology. And this is what I'm teaching, is learning how to speak numbers. How do we crack the code, right? So in Kimberly's case, we've got a 23-5, 2 and 3 equals 5. That means that she's learning the sub lessons related to the number 2, patience, diplomacy, partnership, being balanced, seeing both sides to a situation. The 3 is learning how to express yourself fairly without ridicule, so that you can be the best 5 you can be. The number that sits closest to the slash, right? 2, 3, 5. The 3 is the one you'll feel the most because it's the closest to you. The 2, not so much. The 3 is right here. So I feel like you might be struggling a little bit with taking a risk to express yourself. It's a little scary for you to kind of put it out there. The 3 can often sabotage their efforts because of that. The 5 relates to the experience, right? I want my freedom, but there's a part of me that's a little bit nervous to have it. And how am I going to get there? But you have a big need for your freedom to be able to come and go as you please. You are not somebody who can be micromanaged. Don't even try it. Like, it's not going to happen. You learn best through experience. I often talk about my son, who's a 5, and used to come home from school in probably grade 7, and he would say, explain to me again why I need to learn algebra, because it's part of the curriculum, right? That's what they got to teach you. That's what you got to learn. He said, yeah, but Mom, he said, that's never going to help me buy my groceries. Like, I'm never going to be able to use algebra once I leave school. Why do I have to learn this stuff? The 5 says, teach me something I can use right now, or it's going to go right over my head. And it's not because you're not smart. It's because you're selective in what you learn. Because what you want to learn is what you can apply and use today. I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. We got anybody else?
So we did
this one already, I think. Or is it a different?
Well, we answered another question for her.
For her, yeah.
I'm not sure about we did the birth date though.
Okay. That's 10, 13, 23, 5, 9, 10. Okay, so this particular life path number is a 10-1 with a karmic debt of 13 because they were born on the 13th day. Okay, so the 13th day brings in the reality that you were somebody that didn't apply, you or whoever you're asking about, was not applying themselves in a previous lifetime, and they're here to make amends for that in this lifetime. So focus. If you look at the number 13-4 all by itself, 13/4, okay, the 4 says, I have to be focused. I have to be disciplined. I have to follow the rules. I have to follow a plan. I have to finish what I start. To the left of that is the 3 energy. The 3 is very footloose and fancy free, lots of information coming down, a little scattered all over the place, need to express themselves. And the 4 says, no, rein it in. Come on, rein it in and get detail oriented. Let's get a little bit more responsible and, focused here. But the 3 says, yeah, but I just want to sing and dance and have fun and tell jokes and all that. So it's a bit of a contradiction because you have an odd number next to the even number. So we've got polar opposites at play. So it's this balancing act before you can get the recipe right. Okay. The ultimate goal is to go for the 4, and the 4 says I have to learn to focus and be disciplined in order for me to get anything done, to achieve anything. Now, this is important for you because, or whoever you're reading this for, because the 10-1 brings in a need for originality, for creativity, for authenticity, to create something that's a little unique. The 1 is always about creating, right? The 0 in there says this person needs to learn how to work with their intuitive gifts to achieve what they want. At the end of the day, the 1 is a leader. Okay, so we talked to somebody earlier who was a 19-1, which is the kind of a bit of a more demanding kind of a leader with a bit of a hard ass past, right? The 10-1 is the gentle leader that leads by gentle persuasion. So in order for this person to be successful at being a leader, they're going to have to conquer that 13-4 karmic debt that says I have to learn how to follow a plan so that I can be the leader I want to be. Yeah.
These are great.
Excellent. Elise. Okay. So you are December 17th, 1954. 1 minus 10, 15, 19, 1, 8, and 3. Okay. Well, this is an interesting date of birth again. They're all interesting, right? These are all codes, right?
Yeah.
So, Elise, your life path number is a 12-3, 1-2/3. I'm not going to lie. For whatever reason, 12-3s typically have a bit of a challenging time. And I don't think you're any exception. I feel that the 12-3s just kind of don't know where they fit. I feel like you're a very old soul and you don't kind of know where you fit. And I see that because we've got 1, 2, and 3. 1, do I want to be independent on my own? 2, do I want to be in a partnership? 3, do I want to have be part of a community or social group? So it's always like, and everything feels like a life and death decision that you're making. So if I was to call you on Friday night and say, hey, at least let's go for beer and chicken wings on Friday night, you'd be like, I don't know. Do I want to go out or do I want to stay in? Do I just want to go out with one person or can I manage the group? And it's always, so it's learning how to develop confidence in yourself that you can be in a relationship and that you can also be sorry, so much coming down. It's about developing confidence that you can manage yourself in a relationship, but also in the group dynamic. Okay, developing that confidence. The 12-3 has a tendency to be very hard on themselves. They hold the bar extremely high. Okay, so learning how to kind of step back from that. Beautiful, soft energy. You get lovely energy. I think you have a great sense of humor. The fact you're born on the 17th day says that you have a lot to learn about how you handle your own personal power. You tend to kind of overthink your financial situation. I think you tend to kind of worry a little bit about that because you've got a 7 in there that's the thinker, and at the end of the day, it's an 8, right? So it will be good for you to develop something in the metaphysical in a way to make your living from metaphysics if you're looking to work. Maybe being a tarot reader or an angel card reader or something like that, astrologer, numerologist, something like that would probably be very helpful for you. Because I think you're extremely creative, but you might lack the confidence to kind of put it out there.
That helps, Lise. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
All right, September 30th of 1964.
She's got that 30 also.
Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting one too. Okay. Yes. So she has the sub lesson related to the fact you're born on the 30th day. And I think you guys can see again, just by illuminating these, why I feel it's important not to just add the numbers straight across. again, if you add the number straight across and you're like, no, I get it, I really feel like this is it, then that is right for you. But I do feel like in cases like this, Kelly has a karmic debt life path number of the 14-5, but you've also got the fact that you're born on the 30th day that brings in a real connection to spirit. Like you really are meant to be an intuitive speaker of some kind. The 14-5 says that in a previous lifetime, you made some decisions that caused you to really blow it. You lost all you had. The 5 relates to the 5 senses. Okay, so you could have made some poor decisions because maybe you were a drug addict or an alcoholic or a gambler, something of that nature. The 5 is a seductive number. The 5 is always tempting our senses to make decisions very radically. You know, just let's do it right off the cuff. Let's just make it happen. So that 5 can be a little distracting at times. So in this lifetime, you're intended to kind of overcome that. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to read this like a code. This is a really good example. So we have 14-5, 1, 4, 5. The 1 says you need to develop confidence within yourself. The 4 says so that you can come up with a step-by-step, actionable, attainable, not pie in the sky, kind of a plan, so that you can ultimately have that 5, which is the freedom that you so desire. That's how we crack that code. Okay, so this is a really good example of the polar opposites. The 5 says, I want to spend some money, and the 4 says, no, you have to save your money. But I want to go on a trip. No, you have to stay home. Oh, but I want to do this. No, you can't. Like, you got to just save, right? So it's constantly doing this all the time. So you're always being tempted to be the bad girl, right? But whereas the 4 reins you in. So just know that whatever you want, for example, if you want your freedom, if you want to become self-employed, for example, you have to learn that in order for you to be self-employed and to have what it is you want, you have to create a step-by-step plan, or you're going to blow it again. And you come right back again to do it all over again.
Well, I've got to make a comment. Spirit Watcher Suzanne says, no secrets here. And then Kelly says, dead on. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That's awesome.
All right, everybody. This will be the last one, and then we're going to have to go. So, Nancy, the very last one, you're the lucky one.
Okay. Super empath. Yeah, you are. Okay, so you were born in 1990. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. It's one a little differently. So Nancy, we have August 27th of 1990. Well, right out of the get-go, when I just look at your date of birth, I recognize that you're born in 1990. There's 2 9s in there. Okay, so that brings in the double idealist, person who is really sees things for what they could be, but feeling very powerless to make a change. Because you're very much the empath. You're born on the 27th day. There comes another 9 right there, right? So 1, 9, 10, 19. That's 1, 10, 18. So yeah, so you are the 18-9. The 9, your life path number is a 9, right? So that is the empath. This is somebody who wants to make a significant difference. You are the teacher. I hope that you're involved in some kind of energy work of some kind, you know, maybe massage therapy or acupuncture or something of that nature, energy work of some kind. I think you'd be brilliant at it, to be honest. I feel like you're very sensitive to food and to smell, scent. Anything that's in the environment that is kind of in your face would be a little difficult for you. You are definitely intended to work in the healing arts in some way. That could be maybe a counselor of some kind, maybe a social worker. You're intended to help people to discover their power and to step back into it, to recognize that the diseases that we experience in our lives are manifested because of our belief system. So helping a person to acknowledge their belief system that might not be too healthy for them, that is causing the physical problem, that might be a really good line of work for you. I actually have in our, as I'm thinking about it, in the Clarity Seekers community, I actually have a masterclass in there, which talks about the numerological connection to your disease. So every word, yeah, it's amazing. Every word vibrates at a vibration, and your mental capacity, your emotional predisposition can produce the energy around the illness. So, for example, the word cancer vibrates the vibration of the 8. So the 8 is all about control and power and needing to be in control. And so it's kind of like the 6s run at risk for this because they have a need to control everything in their homes and their families and whatnot. And the 8 is just like the overall manager and the control in their life. And they're terrified to lose control. So they have certain fears, and that can manifest in the form of cancer. So there's a whole course in my program that talks about that. Yeah. Hoping that helps.
Well, I have so enjoyed having you on the show, and looks like everybody else has. And go check out her YouTube channel and her membership. For entertainment purposes only. Thank you, Susie. But she's so fascinating and so knowledgeable. Oh, I see Nancy Jean's in here. She's saying, "Good show, Dr. And thanks, Ann." And Ann's going to be on Nancy Jean's show in September.
I don't think we've set up a time to talk about doing the show, but we haven't actually set a date yet. But I'm really looking forward to it.
So she's going to go around and go check out her channel. And thanks everybody for coming, and thank you, Ann.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks for showing up and asking the questions.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and we will see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.